Hello there. My name is Julius here again. Today's session, we are going to look at writing the report and specifically executive summary and abstract. In our previous sessions, we were looking at planning, how to gather information that will help us to do the report, defining the scope and the purpose of the report. We also looked at audience and how to analyze an audience for the report. So for today's session, we are going now to throw ourselves into writing the executive summary and the abstract. Now, these two are summaries that appear at the beginning of reports. However, they are different in their nature. So a report will either have an executive summary or an abstract, depending on the nature of the report. So let's start by looking at what is a more detailed summary of your report or proposal that highlights the main points, outcomes, and benefits of your report or project. It is usually written for decision makers and stakeholders who may not have time or expertise to read the full report or proposal. Now, an executive, as the name indicates, an executive is someone at the top of management, like a CEO, a CFO, the C-suites, a director. They are executive by nature. So this report is written for executive. So it is usually written for decision makers, the people that I've mentioned, and stakeholders who might not have the expertise of the whole report, but they want to have a glimpse of what is happening in the report or what is being communicated in the report. So an executive summary should be no longer than 2 pages. It's advised that it's not longer than 2 pages. It is also advised that it uses a clear and persuasive language. Persuasive and clear. So after executive summary, what is the difference between executive summary and an abstract? So an abstract is a concise review of report or proposal that summarizes the main points, the main problems, the main objectives, methods, results, and implication of your project. So it is more concise than an executive summary. It is usually the first thing that reviewers read, and they should capture their attention and interest. Again, the issue of using persuasive language and such appeals. So an abstract should be no longer than 1 page and follow the guidelines and format of the funding agency or the audience. So there are some funding agencies that will require you to write your abstract in a certain way. So if there are guidelines that come along with that, ensure that you follow them. How are they different? That is, how is an abstract different from an executive summary? So the main difference between an abstract and an executive summary are the length. We've spoken about the length of an executive summary and the length of an abstract. We have another difference that comes with the audience, the purpose, and the content. An abstract is shorter than an executive summary and should fit in 1 page, while an executive summary can be up to 2 pages and provide more details. An abstract is written for reviewers who are experts in the field, while an executive summary is written for decision makers and stakeholders. So you can already see the difference. That's why in an academic paper, you'll have an abstract, not an executive summary, because people who read academic papers, they are experts in that particular field. The purpose of an abstract is to inform and intrigue the reviewers to read the full report or proposal, while the purpose of an executive summary is to persuade and impress the decision makers and stakeholders. So already you can see the purposes are different. While abstract strives to intrigue the reviewers to read the full report or proposal, an executive summary, on the other hand, persuades and impresses the decision maker so that it can influence their decisions, basically. So an abstract should include the main problem of a team. So we will throw ourselves into how to write an executive summary, and I'd like this to be a reference point for you so that when you're doing your assignment in this section, you can clearly be referring to this just to make sure that you're on the right track. So to write an effective executive summary, you should use a clear, persuasive, and professional tone. Also, the language should be very clear and forthright and avoid ambiguity, basically being ambiguous and being vague. When you're writing an executive summary, you should organize your points, outcomes, and benefits of the project with headings, subheadings, bullets, points, so that it's very clear. And it's advisable that when you're doing this, you do with an introduction that summarizes the main problem, solution, and value proposition of your project and why it deserves funding or support. We should also be able to provide more details and explanations about the objective, methods, results, and implication of your project, and how they also align with the expectation and interests of the decision makers. So that alignment needs to be there. How are the objectives, methods, and results of the project or whatever you're writing about aligning with the expectations of the stakeholders? Then you need to end with a conclusion that restates the main points, basically capturing the outcomes and benefits of the project. And basically, uh, requests for funding or support accordingly. So you are trying to influence the decision maker. On the other hand, how do we write an abstract? So when you're writing an abstract, it's important to follow the criteria that is provided by an agency, the funding agency. So you should write clear and concise and coherent way so that you avoid jargon. Jargon is the use of specialized language for certain profession. Avoid acronyms, and you should actually write in a clear, concise, and coherent way, avoiding acronyms unless they're defined, and also technical terms. So when you're utilizing the active voice, it's important to use present tense when you are writing your abstract, and also avoid using passive and future tense. So look at how language is used. Remember, in our exercises, we did active and passive voice. Now here it's direct application of the same. Additionally, you should state the main problem, objectives, methods, results, and implications of the project in a logical order with transitions connecting them. Now, here you are talking about transition words, which are also called connectors, linking words and phrases like in addition, also, moreover, more, and such kind of words. Lastly, it's important to highlight the significant originality and relevance of the project in regards to the needs and goals of the funding agency. Basically, that's your audience at this point in time. So, in a nutshell, that is how to write the executive summary. And this clip stops here. However, we will be explaining how to handle the next exercise, which will entail us writing executive summary and the abstract. Thank you for listening to me.